Hey YouTube, I thought I would bring you today an inexpensive defensive blade, the Boker Magnum Power Trooper. Kind of a long name, um, but you know, marketing, what are you going to do? I'm going to knock out some specs real quick, talk about deployment, overall quality, and then value. So the specifications, the blade is a 440 stainless. Not even 440C. All right, it's just straight up 440. But you do get G10 handle scales. If that will focus nicely. Oh yeah. And I would say this is a medium to low traction handle scale. But with these cutouts, you do get a little bit more traction there. So, you know, take that for what it is. The overall length is 10 and 3/4 inches. It's a pretty decent size folding knife. The blade is 4 and 3/4 of an inch. And if you can compare that to your standard Pez, my preference, Batman, it's about the size of a Batman Pez. So, you know, from blade edge to end. So, yeah, just something fun. The weight is 6 ounces overall. And honestly, it feels light. It doesn't feel like a heavy blade by any means, and for what you get in size, I'd say that's a pretty good weight, especially with all these cutouts. That certainly helps quite a bit. So blade thickness is 3 millimeters at the thickest. All right, and it is pillar constructed here, as you can see, which I like. I think that saves on weight just a little bit. It is a liner lock, and you can see the engagement there. This does have Teflon bushings inside. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. But yeah, they're Teflon, so pretty standard. Nothing really fancy there by any means. So let's talk about deployment. I would say there's 3 ways of deploying this blade. One of them is the thumb plate. Alright, pretty stand. And then the flipper tang, which you have to give it a little bit of a push to get that to work. Because if you just do that, it's not going to open all the way open. So you kind of have to give it a little bit of a flip. But that's a viable way of doing it. But my favorite is the centrifugal, if you will. And that's just taking it and flipping it out. And one of the reasons why you can do that is the blade is heavy enough to where it'll open up just with centrifugal force. But also the detent is pretty light. So shaking it out is not a difficult prospect, right? So that might be something to kind of keep in mind, because it does carry tip up. So you want to make sure that you don't cut yourself when you're taking it out of your pocket. But for flipping it out, I mean, I love it. It's one of my favorite things about this blade is the deployment. It's just so easy to do, and you can do if you want to just be lazy, you can kind of use that flipper tang a little bit, but you can get healthy with it and just flip it out there really good. So I think that's one of my favorite things about this blade is the deployment of it. So take that for what it is. Let's look at the blade centering. Blade centering is pretty much spot on. I mean, that's not too bad at all for a blade that's as inexpensive as it is. Talking about quality, the handle scale was a little loose out of the box, so I had to remove the fasteners, and I just used a little bit of blue Loctite, and that fixed the issue. I haven't had a problem with it since then. I will say that these fasteners are kind of a lower quality. If I can get this to kind of focus for you, let you have a look at it. Come on. Man, my camera's slow today. There we go. So they're just kind of lower quality, and you can see like the depth is different in each of them. And then here you can see this is a little proud. And all this is nitpicky. I really don't expect, supreme quality from a blade that is at this price point, which we're going to talk about value here in a minute. And there's the pocket clip there. Also, one more thing about quality, the blade out of the box is very dull. I did another take of this, and I was trying to cut, and obviously it won't even cut paper, like it just kind of like pushes the paper. Yeah. So before you go, using this for anything purposeful, I would definitely want to put a good edge on it, which I have not got around to yet, but that's on my docket of things to do. So I would definitely put an edge on there because it's just dull. It's just what it is. So let's talk about value. I got this blade from Blade HQ for $18.95. And I would say that this is probably one of the least expensive blades I've bought. Or let me clarify. It's one of the least expensive blades that I've got the most fun out of. Because this thing is just a lot of fun to flip around while you're hanging out, watching TV. Just, oh, dude, I'm so annoying my girlfriend with this thing because I'm just sitting here flipping it open and flipping it open and flipping it open. And it's fun for me. It might get a little annoying to your loved ones. So, but the fun factor on this thing is huge. This is a really fun knife to have. I'm really glad I got this one. I will say just one note also on this pocket clip. I wish they would have blackened the pocket clip. All right, and I wish it would be just a little bit shorter. We don't need all that length, but Boker's kind of that way. I have a few of their other blades, and they just have long clips for some reason. I guess they're afraid they're going to fall out or something, but if that was just, like, take a quarter of that off, I think it would be just perfect and blackened. But it is well attached, and this is about what you'll have sticking out of your pocket, and that's not too bad. You can see your lanyard hole there. It's kind of small. You might have trouble getting a 550 through there. So, but, and you can adjust your pivot screw. I'm kind of going out of order a little bit. I forgot to mention some of that stuff. But out of the box, I haven't had to adjust this thing at all as far as the pivots are concerned. This thing opens up perfectly for me. Really, really happy with the deployment. Like I said, that's my favorite part about this blade is the deployment and how easy it comes out. So anyway, that's about all I have to say about this blade. I hope you dug it. And for $18.95, this is a great buy. And you really could use this for defensive purposes. And I think that's one of the reasons why I give 440 a little bit of a break. Because for me, if I'm going to use this for a defensive blade, I'm not cutting stuff with this. I'm not opening boxes with this. I'm not doing anything with it. Really, I carry it. And if my gun runs out of ammo or if it has some sort of malfunction, then this is what I'll end up taking out of my pocket and have to use something like that. Hopefully that'll never happen, but for me, a blade like this, it won't do cutting tasks very often, if ever, and so I'll give it a little bit of a break for just having 440 stainless steel for the blade. So I'm sure there's differing opinions on that. But you know what? I personally would buy this thing over and over again. I may even get another one just to have it, and I may give one away for a gift or something like that. But for what it is, I think it's really high value. It's a really fun blade to have, and it's a pretty big blade. I mean, some people really like bigger blades. I'm one of them. I love bigger blades. And this thing really fits the bill if you want to just kind of expand your collection a little bit without spending a bunch of cash. And I'm all for that. So anyway, that's the Boker Magnum Power Trooper. Man, that name's kind of lame, but it is what it is. So hope you liked it.